Welcome. We are leading into Game 3 with Diamond Valley Firetails versus KCR Royals. I am Judy Bench. I am actually commentating this one by myself, so I'm just giving myself some time to be able to go through the rosters because we have some number shenanigans going on. But before we get into that, we pay respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge that this event is taking place on Wurrung land. Always will be. And also, I would like to point out that we do have a penalty box sponsor with our Deadly Sports Plus penalty box. Deadly Sports Plus, Aboriginal-led and LGBTIQA plus SB-led charity, providing high-quality training and first aid services for all. So, when it comes to roller derby, Deadly Sports Plus is the team to go with, as they are absolutely incredible. Not only are they great first aiders, they actually have an understanding of the sport, and they have an understanding of what kind of injuries are commonplace within derby. So they are more than prepared to help us out whenever we need it. So I'll take you into the roster. So we have 101 Smack and Cheese, 1234 Disgrace, 160 Little Fury, 19 Groove Reaper, 5555 A Dance Slaughter, 9999 Big Smack, 12 Watto, 155 Power Runner. I will be referring to them as POW. 18 Cruncherifer, 22 Pipsqueak, 3333 Dana Insana, 525 Bella Bomber, 7 Jack's Bite, and 8888 Hot Squeals. So they do actually have quite a lot of new names to their lineup, which is fantastic as a team that is rebuilding and basically going through a lot of changes at the moment. This is technically Dan Slaughter's debut game for the Firetails. They've done a external scrim, but this is actually their debut game. And I believe Smack and Cheese transferred at the end of last year, but wasn't able to actually play a game with the Firetails at that stage. And then going across to the Kingston City Rollers lineup, we have 039 Jigglytuff, 12 Crush, 182 Mayhem, 246 Trouble, 3 Richard Grub, 419 Commander Chaos, 88 Raff, 111 Slay, 14 Code, 22 Screw, 27 Achilles Wheel, 35 Carnage, 685 Spider Monkey, and 9-1 Murray Fury. So we do have approximately 40 seconds before this game gets underway. Teams are going through their last little bit of discussion, and refs are making sure everyone is up to date with what's going on. So this will be fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to this game. As I said, Firetails has been through a bit of a rebuild. KCR was going through the rebuild a couple of years ago. So they've got a strong lineup that have come through over the last couple of years. And Firetails have got a couple of really core, strong skaters and a lot of brand new faces. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams mesh. So we'll just wait for the game to get started. First lineups are going out. And we have, from the looks of it, 101 Smack and Cheese. And I'm just trying to see who that is, because I kind of have a couple of people in front of them. I believe it's Screw for Kingston. Everyone's now in position. I will also be saying a big happy birthday to Disaster Chief. Thank you so much for coming in on your birthday to officiate for us. Absolutely grateful for your presence. And absolutely grateful for everyone's presence. Smack and Cheese has gotten out for lead for the Firetails. Screw not far behind. Quick call off, but did Screw manage to pick up some points there as well? So Cheese picked up, I believe, 2 or 3 points? 3 points, and managed to keep Screw pointless. Already into an official timeout while things are being double checked. So while that is happening, I do want to say thank you very much to Darebin Community Sports Stadium for allowing us to run this tournament this long weekend. We do appreciate having the space to be able to bring down teams not internationally, interstate, and have a fun, enjoyable tournament to start the season. When you do, if you do come in to Darebin for the next couple of days, we do have some amazing stall holders, including So Neurodivergent with amazing handmade products, Pineapple Page for the fun, sassy stickers and gifts, Flea Bags with fantastic homemade gifts, Talk Derby to Me for roller derby essentials, plus merch stalls by Dragon City, Geelong and Victoria men's roller derby teams. About to undertake the second jam of this game. And we have Pipsqueak up against 685, and that would be just going through our team sheets. 685 is Spider Monkey. I just love saying Spider Monkey in that manner. Pipsqueak has been sent to the Deadly Sports penalty box, so Spider Monkey is on a power jam and picking up points already. What's that out there? We've got Watto out there for Diamond Valley with Little Fury, and Concheva, and who else is out there? Hot Squeals. Spider Monkey is now up to 12 points. Star pass from Pip to Watto for the Firetails, but Spider Monkey has been told to keep running it, as there is Raph in the penalty box, so they will be working to get them out. Watto being recycled back there by Kelly's wheel, and that looks like, is that Richard Grub out there? Jam has been called off. Four points picked up by Diamond Valley to an 18-point jam by Spider Monkey. Fantastic jam. Next to line up, we have looks like Dan Slaughter up against... I'm having one of those days where I cannot remember off the top of my head. Crush. Should have remembered that. I have seen Crush Jam multiple times and they are fantastic. Jam's been called off quickly. 4 points picked up by Crush. I basically have a lot of paperwork in front of me and that's why I keep getting confused where I'm at. So Kingston's starting to get a bit of a lead built up. Cheese is back out for the Firetails. And we have Slay out there for the Royals. Slay picking up lead. Cheese getting out on their initial as well. But Slay calling it off before Cheese can get to the pack. So it looks like Kingston is quite happy to play the sort of slow, grindy game where it's hit it and quit it. Let's start building up the point differential and just start making that really difficult to overcome while minimising how many points get that the Firetails can pick up. So we have Screw out there against Pipsqueak. Screw picking up a very quick lead. Pipsqueak's still in the pack. It is a very, very tough tripod that Pip is fighting against. Managing to get through part of it, but Code, as she so often does, being that last line of defence, slowing things down for a bit longer, just maximising how much time that Screw has to get points without stress. All players back on track. Screw hits the ground, has reset, back in there to score points. Pip is picking up a few points there, but is struggling against with Commander Chaos, Code, and who else is out there? I think it might be Carnage. I can't quite see from here, but a very, very formidable tripod. Little Fury doing what she can to hold up Screw. Screw picking up some more points there. Pipsqueak still remaining stuck at the back of the pack. Jam has been called off. That was a 12-point jam there for Screw to 4 points for Pipsqueak, taking Kingston to 37 against Diamond Valley's 11. As I mentioned before, this is Dan Slaughter's actual debut as a proper bout, and they're on the jammer line again, up against Spider Monkey. Spider Monkey has gotten lead very quickly. Bit of a stretched pack there for a little bit. It was very close to being a split pack, but everyone has reformed. Dan Slaughter's being held up by all 4 Kingston blockers, and now they're trying to look for a potential star pass, or they'll continue on with the star stash. They're continuing on with the star stash. Spider Monkeys hit the pack again and is just weaving their way ever so easily through that pack. Like gaps are just forming straight in front of their eyes. Kingston opting to run it, and considering the success that Spider Monkey has been having, considering they're already up to 8 to 12 points. Why not? And Dan's been held at the back against a tripod featuring, that looks like Achilles wheel, Richardy grub, and maybe Raff. Can't quite tell. Bella Bomber has been sent to the penalty box for the Firetails, so they will take a seat in the Deadly Sports Plus penalty box. Dan, once again, is trying to do a star pass to Jack Spite, but Kingston is doing all that they can to hold that up, while allowing Spider Monkey to try and get through the pack with a lot of success there. Currently only have 10 seconds left in the jam, but Spider Monkey has called it. That was a 16, possibly 20-point jam versus 1 point for Dan Slaughter. 16-point jam, it looks like. There's been no adjustment to the scoreboard. So Kingston currently on 53, Diamond Valley on 12. We do have just over 20 minutes left in this half. And Crush straight through the middle of the pack to pick up lead. Cheese not far behind. A slight blocker advantage at that stage to Kingston, but everyone now back on track. Crushing their way through the pack. Cheese actually managing to slice their way through as well. And Crush calling it off. I am not deliberately doing cheese puns, but if they do come to me, I will say them. Kingston currently on 60 to Diamond Valley 16. Looks like Slay has been sent out to jam up against Pipsqueak. Slay picking up lead quickly. Pip almost managing to come through the inside of the pack, however got knocked out into the middle of the apex. Dana Insana has picked up a penalty. Pip has the star off in their hand, but Slay is just cruising on through. Hit the inside rope, reset themselves, nice and easy. Richardy Grub's being now sent through to the penalty box. Slay picking up 4 points. Pip still caught in the middle, trying to look for a star pass. Star pass occurred, but they turned straight into Mayhem, which is not a move I would like to do. Mayhem is quite strong, however they managed to get past them. So we now have 8888, and that is Hot Squirrels as the Firetails jammer. Jam has come to the end. Scores at 76 to 19. So Kingston definitely is picking up, finding it a lot easier to score in this game than what the Firetails are. Firetails do have some rather new primary jammers, so this has been a good challenge for them. But the steady, skilled hands of the Kingston jammers are very, very hard for newer skaters to come up against, because there is absolutely no holds barred by the strong Kingston skaters. So we have Dan Slaughter stuck at the back, and we have Screw with lead. Commander Chaos drawing Dan Slaughter all the way back. And quite frankly, that is an absolutely terrifying foursome out there for Kingston. Yeah, definitely would not like to be stuck in that, hidden that pack. Looks like a star pass has occurred to Jack Spite for the Firetails. And that was a great knockout there from, I believe that's Big Smack against Screw. However, they weren't able to manage to tighten the screws and keep Screw in the pack. Jack had a little bit of an accident there with the helmet covers, both hitting the floor, the pivot one and the jammer star. But has managed to retain, pick it up. Screw's already up to 12 points for this jam. There is about 20 seconds left, so more than likely just going to pick up one more pass and call it off, which they did. So that's taken Kingston to 92, Diamond Valley 19. Just having a quick look to see. So not much in the way of penalties being a concern for either team at the moment, but Kingston definitely skating a lot cleaner at this stage. Nowhere near as many penalties, but no one's in anywhere nearby penalty trouble. So Crushers coming backwards to pick up as many points as they could before Cheese managed to hit the pack. So there are a number of skaters currently skating under different numbers than they normally would, so that's why it's taking me a little bit of time for a few of them to pick up who's who. Because the paperwork I've been given has then regular numbers on it, which not helpful. But that's because no one knew about the top changes. But that's okay. So Diamond Valley reforming at the back, all four of them, leaving Jack to fight against the tripod at the front. And that's also left it so when they've drawn back Jack to the back of the pack, they've been able to go straight into offense to get Spider Monkey through for their points. Star pass has occurred. The new jammer, I believe, is Hot Squirrels. Spider Monkey is still picking up points. And being told to keep going, keep going. They've just gotten the player out of the penalty box. That was serving some time. Who was that? 3-5 Carnage, it looks like. Code trying to do a last second drawback cut on the Firetails jammer unsuccessfully, but that's something Code is so good at doing. Quite regularly will do that last second drawback and has more success than not in terms of managing to pick up a penalty. Spider Monkey through and calling it off. So that was another 16-point jam for Kingston and a 4-point jam for Diamond Valley, taking the scores to 109 to 23. So as you can see there, Kingston's pretty much scoring every single jam except for one right at the start. And they're having a lot of multi-scoring passes where they're all getting, 12 to 16 points for those passes. Slay gotten out for lead once more. Bella had to yield as it was a false start. Dan Slaughter's caught in a tripod featuring, it looks like, Raph, Achilles and Richardy Grub, with Mayhem there as support. In the meantime, Slay's just being held up a bit by Bella Bomber and Grev, and that looks like Big Smack. Penalty being given to Bella Bomber. I believe that's their third for the half so far. A little bit of shambles there by the Diamond Valley skaters. However, Watto does have the star in hand after a successful star pass. But two Diamond Valley blockers are currently in the penalty box. So Griff Reaper and Bella Bomber. If you do manage to come along this weekend, there is a raffle that's going to be drawn on Monday afternoon. So please be sure to buy some tickets if you are here. We do have some amazing raffle prizes, such as some Stomping Ground Brewing Co. beer. Bayside Blades has put together a pack for us, and some gorgeous artwork from Corey. I do feel kind of weird saying the next one because it is it is a company that I am associated with. So I do want to thank our streaming partners, Maven Move. Big thanks to Nicola for setting this stream up with help from Beardcast. Beardcast cannot be here this weekend, so I do really thank them for lending kit to Maven Move to get this all set up and streaming. So Diamond Valley had called a timeout. Trying to work out from Bella what was going on. As I said, Bella was looking like they were on 3 penalties. And no one with any penalty issues from Kingston. 5 seconds was called and then the whistle was blown. But Diamond Valley had not actually put their lineup out. So Little Fury is now being sent to the penalty box to serve a captain's penalty for a delay of game. Which means Pow is the only blocker for Diamond Valley out there. Bella does have less than 10 seconds remaining because they are standing, but that's going to make it very, very difficult for Diamond Valley. Looks like Smack and Cheese is hoping to do a little bit of offense-defense before going out with their jam. They did get out rather quickly behind Screw. Screw does have lead, so is in control. Bella's back on track, so now there's at least 2 people out there for Diamond Valley. And Cheese got through to pick up points before Screw did, so it looks like they've forced the call off while there is still, I think, 1 person in the penalty box. It does look like it's an official review for Kingston. Being the only person here commentating, I'm not going to run in and see what's going on. We'll just wait and see what happens if anyone's going to serve a penalty. But while we're doing that, let's have a quick look at penalties. As I said, for Kingston, not much on there. So Richardy, Grubb, Carnage, Raff and Murray Fury, all one apiece. Whereas it's a bit more interesting on the Firetails side with Disgrace, Fury serving a captain's penalty, Pipsqueak and Dana on one apiece, Griff with 2 and then Bella with 3. So while still not too problematic, they are definitely a little bit more penalty heavy than Kingston. As I mentioned earlier, Diamond Valley is going through a rebuild period, so while they do have a couple of very experienced skaters, they do have a lot of new people, and new people to, like, not just new people to Derby, but also new people to their league. Smack and Cheese is one of those transfers across that came through at the end of last year. So there's a lot of trying to learn how each other plays and what works best for people. Whereas Kingston kind of went through that rebuild over the last couple of years. So they've got some really good teamwork developed between their packs and pods. So they're able to work out very quickly what each person is going to do. They all know each other's roles really, really well. I do believe we've got Richardy Grubb to come out as a jammer for Kingston. Richardy managed to get up to Bowding last year, I believe. So they haven't been Bowding long, but they do have a lot of skills. And Pip debuted last year and has played, I think, 2 games now. This is their 3rd for Diamond Valley, so both jammers out there at the moment, relatively new. Richardy Grubb has already picked up a few points, whereas Pipsqueak has unfortunately been knocked out, hit the ground, and has just been shuffling back while fixing up their pads, shuffling back on their knees. So not the quickest way to return, but, you know, at least she was making sure she was safe. Pip is now sent to the Deadly Sports Plus penalty box. It looks like it's a bit of a revolving door at the moment for Diamond Valley, as Powell's just headed back out onto track and Dana's now headed back in. Grubb has called the jam off there as Pip had just stood up, so icing the jammer in there. A couple of shufflings around going on. And some track maintenance as well. Well, it is an official timeout. I just need to go and do some duties off track, so I'll be back as soon as I can. Actually, no, I won't, because I've just called the rolling whistle. Jam has started, and we have Crush out there up against Pipsqueak, who will be returning from the penalty box. Dana Insana just went to return from the penalty box and got called for cutting on the track because they did not re-enter legally. Pip has managed to get through on their initial pass. In the meantime, the Screw has picked up some points and is calling it off. Oh, and not Screw, Crush. One of them. I was too busy paying attention to something else. I think it was Crush. Yeah, Crush. I think. Yeah. So for the next jam, we have Dan Slaughter out there for Diamond Valley, up against Spider Monkey. Dana is still in the penalty box, so blocker advantage to Kingston. Spider Monkey through nice and easy. And we just... Diamond Valley's just had their pivot sent to the penalty box. Spider Monkey picking up more points there. They're reforming at the back. Well, Dan is struggling to get through against Achilles, Grub, and is that Mayhem? I think it is. And Jigs is down there as well. Disgrace trying very, very hard to knock Spider Monkey out. Unfortunately, not successful. Spider Monkey knew exactly where her feet were landing. Dan finally through on their initial pass, getting no pass, no penalty. Diamond Valley's now managed to reset their pack to try and hold Spider Monkey. But Spider Monkey too nimble and managing to get around. Dan stuck at the back against Jigs. Star is off and in their hand. There is about 30 seconds remaining in this jam. Diamond Valley pivot has been knocked down and will be well and truly separated from Dan, because not only was Dan knocked down, they were drawn back. Spider Monkey through for another pass. I think this might be the highest jam so far in the game. I believe that was 24 points for Spider Monkey, which is amazing. And with just over 4 minutes remaining in this half, we have Kingston on 181 to Diamond Valley 27. Lining up now, we have Screw up against Cheese. Beautiful waterfall in there by Ballaram Watto to slow Screw down. Nice reforming right back up in front. Pow getting in on the action as well, as is Griv. However, in the meantime, Code and Jigs has pulled Cheese right back. Screw out for lead. And now in on their scoring pass. Cheese has managed to come out, but Screw calling off the jam before Cheese managed to hit the pack. Looks like we've got Slay out there for Kingston up against Pip. Slay going through with some beautiful pirouette work. However, not lead, as Hypodermic has declared that was a cut track, which means Pip has managed to pick up lead jammer. Directions being given by Gilesy for the Diamond Valley pack to hold before going in for some offense. Kingston was ready for it though, And when you've got Raph, Mayhem and Achilles basically as your tripod, it is very, very hard to break that tripod up. Slay managed to get out of the penalty box just as Pip called it off. So Diamond Valley picked up 2 points from that power jam situation. And now we have, is that Hot Squirrels? I can't quite see. There's a lot of discussions happening around, so I can't see who's lining up. But Hot Squirrels versus Crush. Crush picking up lead. I think this is Hot Squirrels' first jam of the game from the start. Has done a few Star Pass receivings, but I think this is their first one in the game that they started as jammer. Screw picking up points. Hot Squirrels is managing to get in there to pick up some points. Power trying to give some offense there. Achilles coming through to make life difficult for Diamond Valley. And with that, Crush goes through to pick up some points. Hot Squirrels was almost out. Achilles tried to knock him over and managed to get them released from the pack. Power hits the ground. Hot Squirrels into the pack once more. Crush coming in, picking up some more points as well. Multiple people hitting the ground and getting back up. And Crush decides to call it there as it goes into intermission. So just checking to see how many points have been picked up there. Diamond Valley now on 37 after that 8-point jam. And Kingston has hit the 200 mark with 201 after that beautiful 16-point jam. I believe we are now in half-time. I don't know if the rolling whistle has occurred. There we go. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, and I'll see you then. Okay, we have about a minute and a half before we go into the second half. Kingston with a rather significant lead of 201 to 37. As we saw earlier, Kingston has been managing to get a lot of those multi-scoring passes, which has just steadily built their points overall. For Diamond Valley, we have Bella and Dana on 3 apiece. Not yet worrying sides, but starting to creep up that way. Griv, Pip on 2 apiece. And then Disgrace, Pow, and Hot Squills 1 apiece. And Fury picking up, unfortunately, that captain's penalty for a delay of game. Looking at Kingston, we have Raph on 2, and everyone else who has a penalty, so Slay, Achilles Wheel, Richardy Grub, Carnage, and Murray Fury, all on 1 apiece. So Kingston's skating a lot cleaner, able to assert their dominance, stay on track, which helps with those multi-points. Jams. Everyone's starting to get back into position, so we'll be underway very, very soon. Looks like we have Cheese lining up for the Firetails. Up against, I think that might be Spider Monkey. I'm not 100% certain. And before things even get started, we are already into an official timeout. So that's interesting. I think someone was missing from their position or missing something important. Oh, we were missing one of the scorekeepers. That's what the issue was. I do apologise for the bit of noise coming through at the moment. It is very, very hot in here, so I'm just trying to cool down before the game actually starts. And once it begins, I'll turn the fan off. Big love to our officials, both skating and non-skating. Cannot have derby without officials, so always appreciate them. Cheese has hit the ground a couple of times there, but Spider Monkey out for lead. Cheese has managed to get out on their initial pass. Spider Monkey has been given the direction to call. That was smart benching there, managing to pick up 4 points, leaving Firetails with no score for that jam. Looks like we have Pip lining up against, is that Crash? I think so. Yes, Crush, sorry. I can't quite see from where I'm sitting, so it does make it a little bit difficult. Pip moving fast, but being held by Code, Raph and Carnage. Crush almost through, but got recycled back and is now through for lead. So we did have a little bit of a later start than what we were predicting for the second half, and that was because our amazing first aid crew, Deadly Sports Plus, just wanted to make sure that everyone had an adequate chance to hydrate and rest because it is warm here. So they asked for an additional 5 minutes onto the intermission time, just to make sure everyone had a chance to do what was needed to make sure that they were safe to come through for the next half of gameplay. So Crushers managed to pick up some points, and they're about to go through to get another 4. Calling the jam off. Pip was through with star in hand. On there, I think they had managed to get one scoring pass through. So again, Kingston just doing that slow, steady, continuing to get the lead, just moving forward, increasing all the time. We now have, I believe that's Slay up against Danslaughter. And Slay manages to get past Pow and through for lead. Pow having to recycle right back to the end, to the back of the pack. Going in for a little bit of offense. Well, Disgrace is like, no, wall up, wall up, wall up. Danslaughter through on their initial pass. Pow being called for, I believe, a high block. Oh no, directional, sorry. Jam got called. Score now 221 to 41. So you can kind of see the difference if you were watching the earlier games to this game. This is a Division 2 game, whereas earlier on the track we had a Division 1 game, which, you know, the intensity is a little bit higher, a little bit more pressure, but for these two teams, both in the Division 2 area, so while Kingston is outscoring Diamond Valley, they are fairly similar in play style to a degree. Geez, they're calling it off because Spider Monkey was right on them, so neither team picking up points. However, Pow is still currently in the Deadly Sports penalty box, so Kingston will have a blocker advantage. And Screw through for lead. Pip is pushing their way through and managing to get out on their initial. And currently we do, I believe, have one person in the penalty box who is just being released, and that was Commander Chaos. Oh no. Yeah, everyone's back on track. Pip picked up 4 points there against Kingston, who also scored 4 points. We now have Danslaughter up against Spider Monkey. These two jammers have very, very different styles. Dan Slaughter is very methodical, pushy kind of jammer. If they build up speed, they are very hard to stop, but if you clamp down around them right at the word go, it does make it a bit more difficult, whereas Spider Monkey just springs out and goes full ball pretty much straight away and is very, very hard to stop because they have that athleticism on their toe stops to get through tiny holes without much stress. And Dan Slaughter has done a star pass to Little Fury. Little Fury has hit the pack and is starting to pick up some points. Spider Monkey continuing on their way, making it look very easy once they actually do get into the pack, managing to get through, picking up 4 points, whereas Little Fury has been recycled back. Spider Monkey picking up another 4 points. Carnage being sent to the penalty box. Little Fury has been called for a cut. And so Spider Monkey is currently on a power jam. However, the bench is giving instructions to probably call it so then they can maximise the next jam's power jam. Jam has been called off. That was, I'm going to put it down as a lazy 24, if you can really call 24 points lazy. Spider Monkey's just footwork is absolutely incredible. And so they are sending out who for this? It looks like it's going to be Richard Grubb going out on the power jam start. Track maintenance happening with Knickerbocker laying in some tape and Achilles doing the lovely thing of making sure it's all stuck down properly. While that's happening, once again we do give big thanks to our sponsor Deadly Sports Plus, who is our first aid and medics. They are an Aboriginal-led, an LGBT, IQA plus SB led charity providing high-quality training and first aid services for all. Richard Grubb out for a quick lead. Achilles' wheel has been sent to the penalty box. Little Fury is currently still seated in the penalty box, which they've just did, so they have about 10 seconds left. So Richard being very, very sensible in resetting, but you can see Mayhem starting to draw back and making sure that Fury has to work hard to get back into the pack. So Mayhem, Carnage and Jigs, quite the pod to come up against. And Achilles has just joined in with them, so definitely making it difficult. Mayhem at the front, providing some offense for Richard Grubb. As I said, Grubb hasn't been playing for long, but they are highly talented. And that's similar with Spider Monkey. They're two of the newer KCR bouters. And Grubb's just carving through the pack like there's nothing there, really. Fury's still fighting against Carnage and Achilles' wheel, hoping for a star pass. However, Jack Spite is up nearby the front holding pack. Griff's now returned in there to kind of help with the pack movement. So Jack has been able to play some offense. Fury hits the ground. Grubb manages to get through like no one was blocking because they were all paying attention to what Fury was doing. Star passes occurred. Jan gets called off. And that was I think, another 24-point jam for Kingston. 20 or 24 points, I can't quite see if they put the last 4 points up or not. Looks like 20 points. So some big jams coming through from Kingston, both with Spider Monkey and Grub, putting up a 24 and a 20-point jam. Out on the line now we have Smack and Cheese for Diamond Firetails up against... Oh, well, it's about to change. We now have Code as the jammer for Kingston after Crush did a star pass because Cheese managed to get out quickly for lead. Cheese getting through for 4 points, calling it off before Code managed to hit the pack. Pips psyching themselves up on the jammer line with a little bit of hot stepping. And they are up against Slay. It looks like both teams have ball blockers out on track. But this is causing a little bit of carnage and chaos. Pip has been called for a forearms penalty, so it is a power jam to Slay and Kingston. Looks like Raph has been sent to the penalty box. Slay heading straight into the pack again. Picking up another 4 points. With that call, jammer is standing. Pip has returned to the track. Hit the pack, did a little bit of a spin, managed to stay in, and then hit into Achilles, who held them for a little bit, but Pip managed to get out on their initial. Raph has returned to the track. Slay has been given the direction to call it just as Pip was about to hit the pack. So it looks like that was a 12-point jam to Kingston, and they managed to time it so no points were given up to Diamond Valley. Scores are 281 to 49. Currently have Dan out there for Diamond Valley, and I believe is that Screw? Yes, I believe that is Screw. Yes. Dan pushing to get to the front. Unfortunately, got knocked out just before they were about to. Bella is running Screw back. However, that also meant that Kingston was able to draw back a lot further and made Dan run back. Code gets the knockout on Dan Slaughter, and Screw manages to pick up lead. And Dan is still stuck at the back of the pack. When you're up against Mari Fury, Mayhem, Code, and Commander Chaos, it is definitely a hard knock to get through. Hot Squills has been sent to the penalty box, as has Bella. So Diamond Valley now has Crunch and Jack Spite out there on track. Jack has Pivot and Crunch as a blocker. And Dan has taken the star off their head, but they are very, very tired. So they are going to hope that they might be able to get a star pass through to Jack. Another knockout. And that jam came to its conclusion with a 20-point jam there for Screw. And a timeout being called for Kingston. So Bella is now currently on 4 penalties, and we now have Pip and Dana on 3 apiece. And then for Kingston, they're starting to get a few more penalties there, with Carnage and Raph on 3 apiece. But they are still slightly more clean out there than what Diamond Valley has been. So overall, and if we have a quick look at the points, again, as you can see, there is just those multi-passes that are absolutely killing Diamond Valley at the moment, because Kingston is racking up 16, 20, 24 points at a go kind of thing. So it's really hard to overcome that when your biggest jam is like 8 points. As I said, there's a lot of new skaters out there for Diamond Valley, so they are still kind of rebuilding and reshuffling and working out what works for them, whereas Kingston went through that period over the last couple of years. But the strength of the Kingston blockers are what's really killing Diamond Valley at the moment, because those blockers are just able to open the holes for their jammers and hold the Diamond Valley jammers. Cheese has managed to get out for lead. Spider Monkey now out on their initial. So that's interesting. That little stop there for timeout has actually assisted Diamond Valley, even though it was a Kingston timeout. Did Cheese manage to pick up any points? It does not appear to be, but they did pick up lead. So we have just under 13 minutes left. And it's 3:01 to 49. Jarzi has run something through to head ref Knickerbocker just to double check something and feed it back through. We now have, it looks like Slay and Pip up on the line. And we had a false start there given to Pow. They were touching the pivot line when they are not a pivot. So they had to yield. In the meantime, we've got Kingston through as lead. Slay is picking up points. Pip is still struggling to get through. Pip's working different levels, trying different sides, just not managing to work out how to bust open that trio in the tripod. Slay being given a bit of a tough time this pass through. And it almost looked like they had managed to stay up on their toe stops inbound, but the jammer ref Slender Jam has called Slay on a penalty for a cut track. And during that, it's allowed Pip to get out on their initial so they can start getting some points. This jam will go for the whole 2 minutes with just over 20 seconds remaining at the moment. sleigh back on track now. I think that was Griv trying to give Pip some offence to help them get through. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get through for a full scoring pass, I don't believe, but they did pick up a couple more points. So that was a 6-4 jam. Oh no, a 6-8 jam, sorry. Diamond Valley now moving on to 55, Kingston on to 309. And it looks like we now have Dana and Zena coming out to jam. Dana is actually going to be playing for Team Latvia at the World Cup later this year. And they are currently up against Crush, who has picked up lead after knocking Hot Squeals out. Dana hits the ground. Bella's been sent for a penalty. Diamond Valley has another one going for a penalty. That's their pivot, Hot Squeals, leaving Dana being drawn right back. And they go straight into Achilles. Raf has been sent for another penalty. And Dana has made it through for their initial pass, but Grosh has called it off. So I can't remember how many penalties that is for Raf now. I think that's 4 for Raf? 4 or 5? 4. And we now have Bella starting to get into penalty trouble with 5. Being that there's still over 8 minutes left, that's going to start being a little bit of a concern for the Diamond Firetails. We have a Dan Slaughter out there jamming for the Firetails. Up against Screw. Screw gets lead. Nice and easy. I should never say it nice and easy. She makes it look easy. Bella has returned to track. Managing to push Power into Screw. Dan has made it out on their initial. Both jammers are in the pack. Both jammers are picking up some points there. Raf has returned and is providing some offense there for Screw. Dan's almost been held at a standstill. And Screw has managed to get through. Dan managed to find a hole there to get through, so has picked up some points. Screw has returned to hit the pack. The call for points has been given, and the call-off has occurred. So 325 to 59. Looks like we've got Smack and Cheese, Jack's Bite, Disgrace, Little Fury, and Crunchiver out there for Diamond Valley. Spider Monkey, Achilles Wheel, Mayhem, Grub, and I think that's Jigs out there for Kingston. Spider Monkey with lead. Achilles called for a cut track. Luna out on their, Smack and Cheese out on their initial pass. It's one of those things where I got introduced to them with their real name, so it's taken me a minute to remember their derby name. Spider Monkey calling it off. Leaving Achilles Wheel in the penalty box for their... it wasn't a cut, it was a forearms for Achilles Wheel. Sorry. We now have Crush versus Pip. And it's looking like Trouble, Mario Fury, Code out there for Kingston, with Achilles returning from the penalty box. Up against Watto, Pow, Griv and Dana. Pip did manage to pick up lead and managed to call it off after a star pass had been given to Code, who was coming in hot. Looks like Pip picked up 1 point to take Diamond Valley to 60, leaving Kingston on 329. We now have Dan Slaughter out there up against Screw. Screw through for lead, breaking up the pack completely. Bella providing some O for Dan Slaughter, allowing Dan to get some momentum happening, but unfortunately that tripod has locked Dan down again. Screw picking up points. There's just been a slight change in the tripod formation, with Mayhem and Grub switching positions. Achilles has been sent back to the penalty box. Screw picking up some more points. Dan with the star in hand, trying to do a little bit of a fakey. Oh yes, I'm going to star pass, but I'm still just pushing my way through. When the pivot stays behind them, it makes it very hard to think that they are actually going to make that star pass, but the pivot kind of got distracted by trying to shore up the tripod holding Screw, which I can kind of understand. Mayhem is doing the as far back as possible drawback that they can do, and with the pack moving backwards, it's allowing Mayhem so much more space to be able to do so. Dan tried to sneak back on. Unfortunately, Mayhem held them. Finally getting the star pass off to Hot Squeals. And on their initial pass, just as the jam came to its natural conclusion. That was another 20-odd point jam for Kingston, being picked up by Screw. Timeout has been called by Diamond Valley. And if we have another quick look. So Achilles now up on 4 penalties with Raph. So a little bit worrisome, but not too bad considering just over 2 minutes remaining. And then if we look at Diamond Valley, Bella's managing to hold on that 5. And other than that, they've got Hot Squeals, Dana and Pip on 3 apiece. Okay, Spider Monkey is lining up for Kingston, and it looks like Dana again for Diamond Valley. Looks like both packs out there of blockers are to full strength. I actually don't have my list on me, Princess, as to what's coming up next. Give me a second and I shall have a quick squiz on my phone so I can have a look. But the big one is 5 p.m. You will be wanting to watch track 2 for the Chaos Clash game that people have been signing up to all day. We have on track 2 next is going to be Ward versus EVRD. So, Wards of the State versus the Witches of Eastwick. And then, as I said, after that we will be having the infamous Chaos Clash, where some rules are known, some rules are going to be a surprise when they get enacted. However, I am totally hoping that there is going to be a couple of official reviews, as they will be decided by Dance Battle. We have had us to Jack Spite, and they have now hit the pack. So they are scoring. Spider Monkey is basically just running down the clock as much as they can. Not going flashy all out there, but not taking it easy at the same time. Still scoring, but not stressing, as there is the jam coming to its natural conclusion, and there's only 10 seconds left on the period clock, and if nothing gets called, that will be the end of the game. And that should be the end, because no one called anything. So, Kingston City Rollers, the Royals 361, with a decisive victory against Diamond Valley Firetails 60. So a 301 point win there. Not a bad effort, especially in this heat. So coming up next, stay tuned for the Witches of Eastwick and Wards of the State. That should be a good game. I don't believe those two teams have lined up against each other before, so should be very, very interesting. And then Chaos Clash to round out the day at 5. I have been Judy Bench. Thank you for joining me, and I shall catch you later. I will not be commentating the next game. Yay, I finally get a break, but I will be back for the Chaos Clash. Bye.